He's showing you another source. You follow me? But he is the ultimate source, the only self-existing deity, having no reason to walk outside himself for anything. He is complete within himself. And the Apostle Paul said, when you understood it, you would find that you are complete in him. Why? Because he is complete within himself. You see that there? Now, so we got the ark is threefold. Why? Because Elohim, the archetype pattern. He's the Father, Word, Holy Spirit in an embodiment. You see? And everything's got to be manifested that way. So then, when you make the ark, I'm repeating, make it with the lower deck, middle deck, upper deck. But these three are one ark. You see? Then we come on after the flood. You see? And this is where Moses is receiving that vision top Mount Sinai. And the same Yahweh that instructs Noah how to build an ark. See, these things are coming in by divine specification. This is not, polytechnically speaking, this is not Noah's ark. We commonly call it his ark, but it's not. You understand? This is the ark of Yahweh. You see what I mean? Just like Adam was not his own, Adam was Yahweh made manifest. You understand? And inasmuch as the body that you're wearing, you understand, it's not yours, it's of Yahweh. Neither is this ark of Noah. You understand? It's of Yahweh. You see? Now, when we come down to the pattern of the tabernacle, that was reminding that we got one, we have that archetype pattern. We said the ark is one thing, you see? And let me say this here. Yahweh didn't instruct the man to build nothing after he built the whole universe. You see? You follow? Then after I built the whole universe, now I instructed you to build just like I did. See that? And he cautions Moses when he gets down to the pattern to build all things according to the pattern I showed you. And he fits it here. See? He built it before Moses did. You see that now? You follow? So now, you make it with a court roundabout, 1. Holy place, 2. Most holy place, 3. See? But those 3 compartments was one tabernacle, which proves that he is Elohim, the archetype pattern, is the Father, Word, and Holy Spirit in one embodiment. And yes, I know without this pattern you get confused. You see, meaning that Joshua said, I of my own self can do nothing, but the Father in me, he doeth the work. You see what I mean? And when he was out here on the cross, said, Father, remove this spirit of, if he was Yahweh, people have said, then who was he talking to? If you understood the unity, you follow me? He was talking to that which was in him, or he gave credit and power to this Elohim, or this incorporeal form, having put on this form. You see what I mean? So in this form, he's speaking to that that made him up. You see that? So he's saying in that, Father, forgive them. You see? Or me and my Father want in this incorporeal form, just simply put on the body. So this made this incorporeal form in this body, it was just one. It's not 2. So he would say, let me go back. Yahweh in this state is the Father of this form. You see? Then once he passes from this state to that form, threefold now, then this becomes the Father. Simply because he's the Father here. You see that? Do you understand? So when this puts on a body, then Adam would speak of this as being a Father. You see that? And he would be the Son. You see? But keep it in mind, this Elohim is manifested in that. And I'm going to prove that when I get to this tabernacle. Now why? By the pattern, well, let me go geographical. Now that's the pattern. The geographical way that Yahweh set this migratory pattern up was that from the Red Sea down into Egypt is 1. You see? And there has to be a door that goes through the Red Sea. Just like, now what I'm working this by is our Elohim, the archetype pattern. In other words, what are you saying by a door and all them kinds of... See, this is the doorway into Yahweh, and this is the doorway out. You see? Or in other words, this is the exodus from pure spirit to incorporealization. You see? So that sets up a door, or a line, or mark of departure. You see what I mean? You follow? So even in here, he's a door. You understand? You follow? And we try to show you that when you read the Bible, you would commonly say that Genesis is the first book of the Bible. You understand? But everybody knows that you have to exit. You see? In other words, Moses and them were down here in Egypt, and they did this Passover feast, at the conclusion of the 430 years. You see, then they departed out of Egypt, went through the departed waters of the Red Sea, and into the wilderness of Sinai, and there's where they received the pattern of how. You see, so then the Exodus would come before the Genesis, because it was in the wilderness of Sinai where he received the vision of how Yahweh created the heaven and earth. You follow? Now, if you understood it by the pattern, this would be likened unto him in the flesh. Moses didn't know him walking around in the flesh. You see what I mean? And by the time of the tabernacle, he has to go through the Red Sea, and in this incorporeal form, then he's revealing to Moses, you see? You follow? By the pattern of the tabernacle, that he is the Elohim of, you understand? Of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you see? Or he's the Elohim of Israel. You follow that? You see, in other words, they're right back in the same state, coming up out this supernal nature of Yahweh. He didn't reveal it while he was in the flesh, but this is the statement in which he created the heaven and earth. So he has to get Moses in the wilderness, in the holy place. You see, and to back that up a little bit, when Moses saw him here at the burning bush, you see, he told to take the shoes from his feet, because the ground he stood on was holy ground. See? Holy. You follow? You understand? So he had to get up out of Egypt. That was not sit down here in Egypt. You see? It was staying while they were in the holy place. You see? Now, what I'm endeavoring to do, when Moses ran up the tabernacle, because I'm condensing and trying to move, when he fixed the tabernacle in the wilderness, just like we say this incorporeal form is Yahweh, or the unity of the Father, or Elohim, the outside pattern of the universe, that is him coming down that he might reveal himself to his creatures. You see that now? You follow? So then if that is the coming down, then that cloud that led him out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of fire, it has to fall on Mount Sinai for 6 days. Why 6 days? Because the heaven and earth is already created. At the time Moses is going to see it. You see that? And he went into his rest, so Moses has to go in there on the Sabbath day to reflect that he had rested from all his work. You see that? Now, when he's talking about coming down, now watch how it works. Here he is coming down from an incorporeal shape and form down to a physical man called Adam. That's a coming down, a condescension. You see that? Now if he did that, listen, if he did that here in heaven and condescended and got up in the man, which is to say, sacrifices, burnt offerings, thou wouldest not, but a body thou hast prepared for me. And lo, I come in the volume of the book, as it is written, and we had it read, that he declared the end before from the beginning. You see what I mean? And when we say the end from the beginning, we're not talking about Genesis 1:1. We have to have a source for Genesis 1:1. You see? As we had the argument that man saved life began in the water. And from an amoeba. We want to know where the water comes, where the amoeba comes from. In other words, that's why we're trying to tell you that Yahweh is the source. He is the substance. You follow? And the Apostle Paul looks at this as faith is a substance. It's the evidence of things hoped for and things not seen. You see what I'm talking about? Now, by him coming down into that man-like shape and form, don't you forget now, he's threefold. It's Yahweh in a body. You see, just like it's Yahweh in a body here. Then what? Then when he puts on, when he blows the top of that mount in a cloud, then his cloud condescends. Just like he descends from here and enters into that man called Adam. That's that Elohim, the archetype pattern, descending from the top of that mountain. You see? You follow? And let me say this, in making his grand entry into that tabernacle. Just like he descended and made his grand entry into that man called Adam. You see? And listen, when you read the Bible, if you understood, you'll find that Adam was not made living flesh. That is not what Moses wrote. He said, and Adam became, after the breath of life, which is allegorical, after the Spirit entered it, he became a living soul. You see what I mean? And the soul is the connecting link between Yahweh and man. You see that? It's that soul in you that interprets what thus says Yahweh. That's the thing that plagues you when you go against divine principles that are made manifest. Whether you're conscious of it or not, as the previous speaker tried to tell, you do have these attributes in you. Do you understand? You do have love for your offspring, as we're all the offspring of Yahweh. You do have the knowledge of how to bring them up. You see what I mean? But you and man, or we, have always taken the credit that it is our knowledge, it is our wisdom, it is our love that has brought us. When we don't understand, it's the love of Yahweh that's made manifest in us. That's what it is. And all that honor and glory goes back to him. You see what I mean? It's not you of yourself are not anything. You see what I mean? Then Yahweh said this to the mouth of the prophet, no flesh shall glory in my sight. You see what I mean? So I cannot, if I love you, I cannot, as Glenn Kimley, take the credit for loving you. It is the love of Yahweh in this that love that is in you. You see what I mean? And the prophet said it this way, my Elohim said unto my Elohim, or Elohim in me said unto you. You understand? The Elohim in you. You see what I mean? In other words, that's that unity that's coming down. You understand? It is not a Trinity, but it is a unity. Now, that cloud is saying it made its grand entry into that cabinet, which no man could appreciate while he was making that entry in it. Just like even man could not appreciate in the tabernacle while this made its grand entry into it. See that now? Now, what we've got so far, you see, we got R1. Now we got a cabinet. And we say that Yahweh, the archetype pattern of the universe, is threefold in his makeup. You see that? Then we got to find something that Yahweh now. Not what man come up with, you see, to build something. You see what I mean? And when Yahweh says build something, he endorses it. You know what I mean by that? When he builds the universe, he gives it life. You see, he calls it that which is seemingly apparent, inanimate. He calls it to animate, move, live, and have a being. Isn't that right? So when he gets in Adam, as you would look at a man just standing there as per se, not that he was, but as a statue. You see what I mean? Without any movement, without any life. You see, but when he gets it, he animates. Therefore, when he gave the commandments, thou shalt not build anything like it unto man or like the beast or in the field. No, why? Because you can create, you can make a model out of clay, you can make it out of brick, you can make it out of a stone. You see what I mean? And you can cause it to look lifelike, but you cannot cause it to live and move and have things. So he knew the limitations that he put on you, so he didn't ask you to do nothing. You see what I mean? But you stand there. And don't you forget, when you talk about creating something, then you get out and worship that you created. Don't you forget, you're the one that's created in his image and life. You're the image. You see, so an image don't make an image and then worship that. You see that, John? That's what we did. That's how Israel got in trouble. They were the children. They were the offspring. Yahweh so loved them, he come and got them out of the house of Egypt, out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of God. And they come right up to there, and instead of giving Yahweh Elohim the glory, they made a golden, they made the golden calf. Then they fell down and worshiped that. You see what I mean? Now these things were done for our admonition, as Peter said, and for our learning. You see what I mean? In other words, after in this dispensation race, we should have learned by now to cut that foolishness out. You see what I mean? Man is wrong for him worshiping himself, because he is not himself or product of himself. He is an offspring of Yahweh. You see that now? And when we come to that universal understanding, then righteousness will reign on the face of the deep as the waters covered it in the beginning. And this is the archetype pattern that moved upon the face of the deep, and Moses saw him go into that creative state and transmigrate from one state to the other. You see what I'm talking about? And then back to himself, then back into another state, or coming down through the creation. In other words, let me show you what I'm saying. He is the light, and he is the darkness, but he transformed into it that Moses might comprehend that he is that. That's why he said, without him there was nothing made that was made. You see what I mean? Now the darkness is the secret chamber of Yahweh. And when Yahweh said, let there be light, it signifies that he was going to illuminate the man's understanding and abolish the darkness in his heart and in his mind. You see what I'm saying? And that darkness was so thick, you see, that you, with a carnal mind or way of thinking, you couldn't penetrate that darkness. You see, it took Yahweh to say, let there be, and thus it was. You understand? You follow? It takes Yahweh to say, let there be some understanding, and let there be some knowledge, let there be some wisdom concerning me. You follow? Same one that's spoken here. You see what I mean? And Paul in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 4 and 6 says, let the glorious light of the gospel should shine in unto them. You see, they couldn't be saved. You understand? Because Yahweh, you cannot penetrate this realm, you see, with your imagination and concept and just reading and quote and moralistic concepts. That's not how it comes about. And let me give you an example. We say that that you should not drink strong drink. You shouldn't smoke. I'm not saying that you should. You understand? However, that's not how man got lost. You understand? The Adam brought us all down into sin by a transgression. You follow me? By his disobedience concerning the fruit in the Garden of Eden. It was not because he was smoking and drinking. In other words, then Yahshua coming in to fulfill it. He didn't come to die on the cross and put your habits to death, but to raise you back under Yahweh. You see what I mean? You follow? Now, I'll try briefly to come down through here. Now, here's the pattern of the tabernacle. And then when you go into after 40 years, you see, of tabernacle here in the wilderness, then Yahweh takes them through the departed waters of the River Jordan, and they go on in the conquest of Canaan's land. And after the conquest, after 47 years of war there in Canaan's land, a kingdom was set up. You see what I mean? Now there's a reason why they're having to war all the way through here. Because what has to happen, this migration has to begin just like creation did. And Michael and his angel warred against Lucifer and his angel, and then a kingdom was set up. So that it has to be proven down here in brick. You see what I'm talking about? You follow? Now, we said, we're coming back now, because I'm conscious of people, as you go along, they forget. You see, and I'm trying to draw the thoughts up because I'm the one that spread them apart. Now, here's the ark is threefold, that's one. Here's the tabernacle, it's threefold, that's two. Then when they went through the River Jordan, you see, then